Yo, what's good everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be breaking down this NHL DFS slate for Wednesday, October 12th, and we got ourselves 6 games on that slate where I'm going to go through and break down a couple of my favorite line stacks, some of my favorite individual plays, and some of my favorite low-priced options, and then we'll wrap up the video talking a little prize picks. Now, for those of you who didn't see my NFL DFS video breaking down that first look for Week 6, you might be asking yourself, what is going on with my background here? I am currently traveling for work, so I'm making these videos out of my hotel room. But hey, folks, I'm a man of the people. It's opening NHL week. Of course I was going to be breaking down these NHL DFS slates. With that being said, let's dive into my spreadsheet here. And as always, we're going to kick things off here in the top left-hand corner with those highest implied game totals. You notice all 6 of these games have an implied total of at least 6 goals, 3 of them coming in at 6.5 goals. Now, I am recording this here on Tuesday night, being that I am traveling for work right now. These lines very well could change, but definitely some shootout potential on this 6-game slate. And then we take a look down here at the Vegas odds. Avs, Maple Leafs, Carolina sitting really nice, Oilers as well, and then the Capitals and Ducks are favored to win their games. With that being said, everyone, let's dive into a couple of my favorite line stacks here, and I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but we were talking about this in the Discord here tonight as well. If you want to join that, link in the description below on this video. That second line, actually, it's technically the first line for the Anaheim Ducks of Ryan Strome, Mason McTavish, who's a rookie, and Troy Terry, are all below $4,000. So that would be my favorite contrarian line stack. We'll start with that. But one of my favorite overall line stacks here is going to be that first line for the Colorado Avalanche. We got McKinnon centering Lehkonen and Mikko Rantanen. Now, we know the chemistry between Mac and Mikko has been elite for a few years now. You add Arturi Lehkonen at the trade deadline last year from Montreal. He fit right in on that first line with those guys. Now, you could probably put most wingers in the NHL with 2 of the most elite forwards in Mikko and Mac, and you'd find some success, but Lehkonen was very good there. He definitely held his own. You got all 3 of these guys who play up on the #1 power play, and a great matchup here at home against the Chicago Blackhawks, who are one of the worst teams in the NHL last season, didn't get any better this offseason, and can very well be the worst team in the NHL this year. They're going to be trading Patrick Kane more than likely. They're in rebuild mode 100%, going for that Connor Bedard lottery ticket, and they very well could win it. Now, the Colorado Avalanche will be raising that Stanley Cup banner on Wednesday night as well. The emotions will probably be running high, but like I said, this is an elite line here and an elite matchup at home to start the season. Another line stack I like here for Wednesday night is going to be that first line for the Carolina Hurricanes. We got Aho centering Teravainen and Jarvis. A great matchup for them at home to start the season as well against the Columbus Blue Jackets. Yes, Columbus did get better this offseason, but not so much that I think they're going to be an elite defensive team, especially after allowing 300 goals last year, just one of 5 teams to do that. Now, you get all 3 of these guys here who play up on the #1 power play. They're very affordable for what it's worth. There's no reason Seth Jarvis should be $3,500. A great value play there. But Aho and Teravainen could easily be priced up towards the 7K range as well, so I'll definitely take advantage of that. Now, folks, before we dive into some of my favorite individual plays here, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. My God, I am sweating right now. I need to turn the air conditioning on in my hotel room. Like and subscribe. I got a lot of hockey content coming out for you guys this year. All right, now diving into some of my favorite individual plays here, we're going to kick it off with the forwards. First guy I got there is Austin Matthews of the Toronto Maple Leafs, the reigning Rocket Richard winner, who put up 64 goals in 80 games last year, including playoffs, but just a ridiculous season for Matthews. Now, he's the most expensive player here on this slate at $8,400, but I don't mind that at all. He should definitely be priced in the 9K range. For what it's worth, I got to talk about McDavid too. He's $7,900. I don't think he was in the 7K range all of last year. If you want to play him against Vancouver, yes, that's obviously a great play. I went with Poppy here, though. It's a great matchup against the Montreal Canadiens. Montreal got better this offseason as well, and they're going to play better under their new head coach in Marty St. Louis. We saw that towards the end of last year, but that Montreal team allowed 319 goals last year, the most in the NHL. seems like a pretty good matchup for the guy who scored the most goals in the NHL last season. Next, I got Leon Draisaitl there of the Edmonton Oilers, and I just mentioned this about Connor McDavid being too cheap at $7,900, playing against the Vancouver Canucks, whose defense do not scare me whatsoever. Same argument could be made here with Leon Draisaitl at $7,300. He should easily be priced in the 8K range. I kind of like that second line in general for Edmonton. Leon centering Hyman, and who you can see below, Dylan Holloway. I'll talk about him when we get to the low-priced options, but I like that as a second line stack. You're going to see Leon play big minutes, play on that number one power play. And this is a guy who racked up 142 points in 96 games last year, including the playoffs. He's been a point per game above player for years now. Now, on the other side of that game, I like JT Miller as well. I'm not really concerned about the defenseman or newcomer in Jack Campbell, the goaltender for the Edmonton Oilers. I know he had some big games last year for the Maple Leafs, ended up going to the All-Star game, but after the All-Star game, not very good. And I think this Vancouver team could definitely pump in some goals. Maybe it's a game that we kind of target in general, do a little game stack there. But JT Miller is coming off a career season where he had 32 goals, 67 assists, 99 points in 80 games. They did not make the playoffs, but JT Miller had some really big games last year. You're going to see him center that first line and play on the number one power play as well. $6,400 is probably the right price for him, but he can definitely exceed the value at that price. We then got Cole Caulfield there of the Montreal Canadiens, who is a little more expensive than I thought he would be, but this is probably the right price for him as well. And I talked about this in my season-long bets video last week. If you didn't see that, I talked about Caulfield's numbers before and after the head coaching change to Marty St. Louis. And I got those numbers here as well if you didn't catch that last week. Let's go through them here quickly. So last year under head coach Dom Ducharme, we saw Caulfield play 30 games. In those 30 games, he averaged 14 minutes per game. He had 1 goal and 7 assists. Just 8 points. Not very good. But once Marty St. Louis took over as the head coach, we saw Caulfield play 37 games under him, where he racked up 22 goals, 13 assists, 35 points, averaging 18 minutes per game. I mean, significantly different numbers, not even close, really. So if we look at those numbers under Marty St. Louis and put those across an 82-game sample, that's 49 goals for Caulfield and 78 points. Now, I'm not suggesting that Caulfield's going to put up 50 this year, but 30 plus, I definitely think he gets there, and I just like that chemistry he built with Nick Suzuki towards the end of the season. He should play about 18 plus minutes in this game. He'll play on that first line and number one power play too. And then I got Oliver Bjorkstrand there of the Seattle Kraken playing with his new team after being traded this summer from the Columbus Blue Jackets, where he spent his first 7 seasons in the NHL. I like the upside we get out of a guy like Bjorkstrand, especially at this price here of $4,600. Now, being that he is with a new team, there's going to be some chemistry that he needs to build on that second line, but he's playing on the number one power play too, so there's going to be plenty of opportunity for him. Against the Anaheim Ducks here that have a lot of new pieces on their end as well, they're definitely going to be figuring some things out. It sounds like John Gibson could miss this game. He got hurt in preseason with an upper body injury. Even if he does play, I'm not overly concerned about this matchup. Bjorkstrand last year had 28 goals, 29 assists, 57 points in 80 games, but a guy who's got 15-20 plus DraftKings point upside. Now, just want to take a quick minute to talk about one of the sponsors on this channel, Lucra. If you have not downloaded Lucra, it is completely free to get started. I'm actually going to throw a QR code up on the screen here right now. You can scan this with your phone. It's going to download the app, and once it does that, it's going to give you my referral code, which is GRIFF, GRIFF, and give you $25 in free play money. Now, you can use that free play money to compete against anybody, friends, family, or someone random, and if you win those contests, you'll actually see that free play money convert to real cash. So if you win enough of your contests with that free play money, you might legit never have to deposit a single dollar on Lucra. You can just build a bankroll from there. So again, I'll throw that QR code up on the screen one more time. You can scan this with your phone here. It'll download the app, include my referral code GRIFF, GRIFF, and give you that $25 in free play money. Now, moving over here to the defenseman. First guy I got there is Cale Makar of the Colorado Avalanche, the reigning Stanley Cup Conn Smythe and Norris winner. And this kid's, what, 23, 24 years old? Just a ridiculous player, one of the best in the NHL already, who racked up 115 points in 97 games last year, including playoffs. That is so ridiculous for any player, let alone a defenseman. He's a guy who's going to play 25 plus minutes in this game, plays on the #1 power play, plays on the penalty kill, and yes, he is expensive at $7,800, but he has just as great an upside as most, if not all, of the players on this slate. The next guy I got there then is Brent Burns, playing with his new team in the Carolina Hurricanes after spending the last handful of seasons with the San Jose Sharks. Didn't start his career there, started with the Minnesota Wild if you forgot about that, but I am excited for the opportunity here for Brent Burns, playing with the Carolina Hurricanes. $5,900, a little more expensive as well, but definitely justifiable. This guy loves to shoot the puck, and he's going to be such a huge bonus on that power play. I know Tony DeAngelo was good there last year, but now he's out of the house. He's playing in Philadelphia, who are just going to be so bad this year as well. But we'll talk about that once Philly plays. Brent Burns, though, going to log big minutes, plays on that #1 power play, and a guy who can definitely get on the score sheet, especially with this team. Now, one defenseman I thought that DraftKings got the pricing wrong on was Evan Bouchard of the Edmonton Oilers. I think he should be around $5,500 in my opinion. He really started to come on last year, especially on the offensive side of things. He's a guy who had 15 goals, 37 assists, 52 points in 97 games, including playoffs, but he's just got a nasty shot. Looks like he's playing up on that #1 power play right now, which was one of the best in the NHL all year long, including the playoffs. When you got guys like McDavid and Draisaitl, yeah, you're expected to be good, but mixing Evan Bouchard there at $4,700, really nice price for sure. And then to wrap up the defenseman there, I got Bowen Byram of the Colorado Avalanche. I notoriously don't highlight two defensemen from the same team on a 6-game slate, but I love the value we get here out of Bowen Byram. Now, he was banged up a little bit last year, dealing with those concussion symptoms. You hate to see that with any player, especially someone so young like Bowen Byram. But I'm excited for the opportunity for him this year. I think he's going to play about 20 plus minutes per night. He's going to get time on that second power play and should log minutes on that penalty kill as well. And he had 26 points in 50 games last year, about a half point per game type of player. And if you're new to the NHL DFS side of things, yeah, if you've watched my videos, you know what I'm about to say. If I play anyone in the 2 to 3K range, if you can get me double-digit DraftKings points, I'm satisfied with that. Bowen Byram is definitely someone who can get us there. And then, of course, I got those honorable mentions listed in the notes off to the right-hand side as well. Giordano there of the Toronto Maple Leafs, I think, is solid at 3.9K. You got Brady Shea there of Carolina at 3.9. Shattenkirk of the Anaheim Ducks at 3.3. Girard of the Colorado Avalanche at 3.1. DeHaan of the Carolina Hurricanes, he did move over from Chicago this year at $3,000. You're basically banking on him to have 3 block shots in this game, get you that 3-point DraftKings bonus. And then Justin Schultz there, playing with his new team in the Seattle Kraken as well. It looks like he's going to run that #1 power play on the blue line. I don't mind that at damn near the bare minimum price, a 2.6K. And then I got a couple of goaltenders here for you. First being Frederik Andersen of the Carolina Hurricanes. Freddie was fantastic at home last year with an 18-6-2 record, a goals allowed average of 1.95, and a save percentage of .929. And Carolina has been one of the better defensive teams in the NHL for a couple of years now under their head coach and Rob Brendamore. I expect the exact same thing here this year, and a good matchup at home to start the season against Columbus. Again, I know Columbus got better this offseason. Add a guy like Johnny Gaudreau, you're going to probably score more goals, but I think this is a game that Carolina should control from start to finish. And then I got Darcy Kemper there, playing with his new team in the Washington Capitals after winning the Stanley Cup last year with the Colorado Avalanche. They're playing the Boston Bruins in this game, and the Bruins are a bit banged up right now. No Brad Marchand, no Charlie McAvoy and their best defenseman, no Matt Grzelcyk, so you still got guys like Pasta, Bergeron, Taylor Hall. He brought in David Krejci, brought him back. So yeah, can they get on the score sheet and score goals? Absolutely, but I think that could be one of the lower scoring games in general on this slate. And as always, going to wrap up this spreadsheet here with 3 low-priced options or sub 4K forward plays. First guy I got there is Dylan Holloway of the Edmonton Oilers, who I name dropped earlier when I was talking about Leon Draisaitl. Like I said, I like that second line in general, but Holloway, rookie, who was drafted in the first round back in 2020, has never played in the NHL. However, he's going to start his NHL career on the second line with Leon Draisaitl, one of the best players in the NHL, and on that number 2 power play. So Edmonton is going to give this former first rounder all the opportunity in the world to start his career. Next, I got Troy Terry there. DraftKings, what are we doing? There's no reason that Troy Terry should be $3,700, just like Seth Jarvis should not be $3,500. But hey, we will take advantage of that. Terry's going to play up on that first line, plays on the number 1 power play. It's a guy who racked up 37 goals last year, 30 assists in 75 games, had himself a career year, and I just don't understand why he's so cheap, especially in this matchup against the Kraken. And then on the other side of that game, Jordan Eberle, $2,900, going to play on the third line in number 2 power play. I'd argue that his power play is the number 1 power play. Go take a look at it. They kind of split things up between both power plays. Maybe they're looking to do a 50-50 split to start the season, but Eberle at $2,900, I don't mind this at all, especially in this matchup against Anaheim. He is absolutely a boom-bust type of player, but someone who still has 15, 20-plus DraftKings point upside and could smash his value at that price. And then to wrap up this video here, we're going to talk a little prize picks. Being that I am recording here on Tuesday night, they only have goal props out right now. We're not going to tackle those, folks. We do the shots on goal props. We'll get into some of the other ones later in the season, but shots on goal are the primary focus during the first week, and point props for what it's worth. I think those are nice too. You know, we're 2 for 2 so far on Tuesday night as I record this here. That Vegas and LA game is still going on. We need Kempe to get a point, and we'll go 3 for 3. And we had ourselves a great year last, people. Throwing up the numbers here right now. Just a tremendous NHL season, and I really want to build on that here in 2022 and 2023. But if you have not signed up for Prize Picks yet and are interested in doing that, I got a promo code that you should definitely take advantage of. When you're signing up, use my promo code GRIFF. GRIFF, and Prize Picks will give you all the way up to a $100 match deposit. Now again, you don't have to put $100 in. You want to put in 50, they'll match 50. You want to put in 20, they'll match 20. They'll match anything up to $100. Again, as long as you're using my promo code GRIFF, GRIFF, upon signing up. Alright everyone, that is going to wrap up this video here for today. As always, thank you all for taking the time out of your day to watch the content here on this channel. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Folks, we're just getting started here on the NHL side of things. I'm going to have content out for you guys all year long. Let's enjoy this 6-game slate here. Let's win a little money as well. I'm out of here.